there was a water line that blew out behind a portion of the wall, so they had to tear a decent chunk of the wall out in order to replace the water main. And here's what we got to work with.
So the city came in, tore out our wall, and then drove a skid loader through it, which means we've got to put it back together. We'll be using brand new blocks to fill in the gap, but we've got to prep the old blocks before that can happen. The old blocks have to be cleaned and scraped before they can be reused. These are Versalock standard units. They are a solid block, but also have a pin system that hold them together. So the pin holes and the pin slots both have to be scraped clean. Sam also has to make enough room behind the blocks for new backfill and drainage aggregate. He hand compacts behind the wall to make sure that there's no unsettled material.
Here's a good real-world example of how this geogrid works. So this, the water line blew in the fall. It's been sitting all winter and, for a few weeks in the spring here, and none of the bank really went anywhere except for where they scooped it out. So we got about, it was like 4-ish feet of the geogrid going back behind the wall, and it absolutely held this bank back. This would have been all over the sidewalk, everywhere, if we didn't have that geogrid in there.
Alex shows up just in time with the new blocks. They weigh 83 pounds each, so a handle comes in nice to carry them. They've got to connect the new wall into the existing geogrid that's already holding the bank in place. This needs to be very precise and can be tricky. As they lay the blocks down, they've got to make sure no dirt or rocks get in between the grid, the block below it, and the block above. If anything gets in between the blocks and the grid, it can throw the entire wall off. So sometimes a block goes in just to come back out again. Even the slightest things like a piece of dirt or even a fold in the grid can throw the block off, sending the guys in reverse. On a short wall like this, those mistakes probably will blend in, but if this was a taller wall, they would stick out like a sore thumb. As they lay the blocks in, they occasionally check the level to make sure that everything is going the way they had planned. Each block gets leveled front to back, side to side, and then along with all of the blocks on each side of them. He slides the block on purpose.
So what we're doing when we're scraping these things is during the pouring process with these, the tops aren't even. It's just the way it goes with these concrete blocks. So you get ridges all along here, and if you don't, you know, grind those off or whatever, they can make your wall all wonky. So you gotta make sure to scrape those down.
It's called slag, and the fastest, easiest way to remove it is simply by sliding one block on top of another. Getting the right drainage material behind the wall is a critical element, but easy to get wrong. A lot of people use P-rock, thinking that it's drainage material, but it's small in nature and rounded. We always use 3/4 clear angular stone. It locks in place as you're laying it down and resists movement.
I got some fresh chicken.
A center repair can be tricky. You have two ends of a retaining wall that are left in place, so you've got to make the concrete blocks meet perfectly in the middle. Alex is going to find out that sometimes that doesn't always happen. The block doesn't fit the way Alex wants.
Pockets ain't fitting in there.
Huh?
Pockets ain't fitting in there.
Oh yeah, we gotta slide this one over. There's a gap.
Thank God.
Although it fits, it doesn't sit quite level, and Alex finds out why. The entire wall is designed to allow water to weep evenly through it. The key to that happening is making sure that that drainage aggregate gets put in place. The drainage zone gets light hand compaction only. The rock gets put in place and compacted in small lifts, so it's a process that repeats over and over again. The wall will need new corner caps, which present their own unique challenge.
So the top caps only come rough one-sided. So at the corner, I gotta split this off so that this has a rough edge.
But before that can happen, all of the glue from the block below has to be hand scraped off. An angle grinder would gum up, so chisels and picks are used. He starts by marking where he's going to split the cap. To keep the face rough, he uses a chisel to make the break. He scores along the top, side, and bottom. They knock down any high ridges or inconsistencies. but they've still got one row of block to stack before they can cap the entire wall. To get these blocks to connect, they have to line up the pin holes on the top with the pin slots on the bottom. It's a very precise procedure. Sam slides a block across the top course, prepping it for the cap to come next. On the next part of this video, we finish capping the wall, fill in all of the ruts in the yard, finish the backfilling, and wrap up this entire project. God bless, and go get 'em, you guys.